You think you're lost, but you're not. You're performing a version of yourself you don't even remember creating. A version shaped by silence, survival, and small betrayals you told yourself didn't matter. You wake up, and something feels off. You smile, but it's not real. You speak, but your voice sounds distant. You agree to things you don't believe in, nod at people you don't trust, chase goals that leave you empty. And then you wonder, why does everything feel so numb? Why does the mirror reflect someone you can't quite recognize? It's not because you're lost. It's because you're trapped. Trapped in a character written by fear, rehearsed by habit, and applauded by people who never really saw you. Trapped in a skin-tight script of expectations that's now too painful to wear. And yet, you keep playing the part because you're afraid of what happens if you stop. Afraid of being rejected. Afraid of being alone. Afraid that if you take off the mask, there might be nothing underneath. But there is. There's a version of you that remembers how to feel, how to breathe without shrinking, how to speak without trembling, how to live without apologizing. You're not broken, you're breaking out. The numbness isn't a dead end, it's a warning light. Your body knows, your soul knows. Something inside you is done pretending. And maybe that ache you carry isn't a weakness. Maybe it's your real self, knocking from the inside, asking to be let out. What if you're not falling apart? What if you're finally waking up? What if this silence inside you isn't emptiness, but space? The space where you finally meet yourself. Not the one you were taught to be, not the one you became to survive, but the one who's been waiting, behind the performance, beneath the smile, still breathing, still here, still you. It starts early, this quiet erasure of who you truly are. A glance that shames your joy, a comment that shrinks your voice, a reward for being easy, nice, good. So you adapt. You lower your voice, you smooth your edges, you wear the smile that keeps the peace. At first, it feels harmless. A small compromise here, a silent nod there. You learn which parts of you are welcome and which ones are too much, so you hide them. The rage, the dreams, the softness, the wildness. You become the version of you that makes others comfortable, polished, predictable, safe. But here's the truth they never told you. The more you abandon yourself to be accepted, the more invisible you become to yourself. And that's the real prison. Not walls, not rules, but the constant performance. Like living in a house with lights that never fully turn on. Like whispering your name in a room where no one's listening, including you. You begin to feel hollow, but you don't know why. Because everything looks fine on the outside. You're functioning, smiling, achieving, but underneath you're starving. Starving for truth, starving for rest, starving to be seen, not praised, not approved, just seen. You've become a ghost wearing a costume, a puppet smiling on cue, and no one notices the weight you carry, because you've become excellent at pretending it's not there. The worst part, you've done it for so long, you've started to believe this is who you are. But deep down, something itches, something aches. Like a whisper inside your ribs saying, this isn't it. This isn't who you are. It's who you became to be safe, to be loved, to be chosen. And the pain you feel? It's not proof that you're broken. It's proof that you're still alive inside, still wanting more, still remembering the truth, even if barely, even if it scares you. Ask yourself, who would you be if no one was watching? Who would you be if love didn't depend on performance? What version of you have you buried just to keep the peace? Maybe it's time to dig. Maybe the prison was never built by others. Maybe you held the bricks. Maybe the mask stayed on not because it fit, but because you forgot you could take it off. The Buddhists call it Maya, illusion, the false identity we cling to because the truth feels too raw. But freedom isn't found in pretending. It's found in presence, and presence demands that you see yourself, all of you, even the parts you were told to shame, even the pieces you were taught to hide. So here's the question no one dares to ask you. Are you ready to stop being the version of yourself that kept you safe and become the version that sets you free? Because behind the silence, beneath the performance, you still exist. Untamed, unpolished, unapologetic. You. Drop your mask in the comments. What version of yourself have you been pretending to be just to survive? Write it like no one's judging, like you're finally being read for the first time. I've been pretending to be, guys, because I thought I had to be. Let it out. Someone out there feels exactly the same. Pain doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. It whispers in the way your shoulders tense for no reason, in how your eyes scan a room, hoping no one sees how tired you are, in the smile you give, polite, controlled, hollow. No one sees what it costs you to look fine, but deep inside, you're crumbling. This pain didn't arrive overnight. It grew slowly, like roots under the floor, invisible, but holding everything. Maybe it began with rejection, subtle or brutal. The moment someone important didn't stay, or didn't love you back the way you needed. So you made it about you. You weren't enough. Too intense, too soft, too different. And then came the mask. The pleasing, the overgiving, the silence when you wanted to scream. You survived, yes, but survival costs something. No one tells you that trauma can look like becoming the strong one. That heartbreak can echo for years in the way you downplay your needs. That loneliness can live in a room full of people if no one knows who you really are. We think pain is loud, dramatic, but more often, it's quiet. It's waking up and feeling heavy for no reason. It's staring at the ceiling, wondering why you feel like you're too much and never enough at the same time. This is where the Buddhist path begins, not in temples or silence, but in the ache, in the raw, unedited places. Suffering, the Buddha taught, isn't a punishment, it's a mirror. It shows you what you've been running from, what you've clung to, what you've believed you had to become. And most of all, it reveals what wants to be healed. That ache in your chest isn't just sadness. It's a signal, a doorway, a call to come home. You were not meant to live dislocated from yourself. You were not meant to apologize for your emotions. You were not meant to carry the weight of everyone's comfort while your own truth sinks beneath the surface. The moments that broke you, they also shaped you, but not into something weak, into something real, something awake. You can't fake your way into healing. You can't positive think your way out of a wound. You have to feel it, sit with it, let it breathe. And yes, it hurts, but there's a deeper hurt in pretending it doesn't. So stop running. Let the pain speak, not forever, just long enough to listen, long enough to understand what it's been trying to show you. This isn't the end of you. It's the beginning of truth. Let the tears come. Let the anger rise. Let the numbness crack open, even just a little. Not because you're falling apart, but because something real inside you is waking up. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be felt. By yourself. Fully. Without judgment. Without shame. Maybe your real self isn't hiding. Maybe it's buried beneath everything you weren't allowed to feel. And now, it's asking to breathe. Detachment has been misunderstood. People think it means coldness, emotional distance, not caring. But in the language of awakening, detachment isn't numbness. It's the beginning of freedom. To detach is not to turn your back on life. It's to stop clinging to the version of life that's crushing you. You've been gripping so tightly to who you think you need to be, to who they want you to stay, to masks that don't breathe, roles that don't fit, dreams that don't belong to you anymore. It's exhausting. And yet, the fear of letting go feels worse. Because who would you be without all of that? Here's the truth. Most don't say out loud, you can love people and still outgrow the version of yourself you became for them. You can care deeply and still walk away from what's killing your spirit. You can be grateful and still be done pretending. Detachment is the quiet courage to release what is no longer yours to carry. Like taking off a jacket you've outgrown. Like dropping a bag full of stones you were told were gold. Like realizing the house you built for love has no windows and deciding you want sunlight again. It's not about apathy, it's about truth. Because attachment isn't love. It's fear dressed up as devotion. Fear of being alone. Fear of being nothing. Fear of being too much. But what if you could hold yourself without needing to be held by lies? What if you didn't need everyone to understand you in order to be yourself? What if peace isn't found in being accepted, but in being free? Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means choosing. Choosing space. Choosing breath. Choosing to feel light enough to move again. Imagine walking through life not performing, not hiding, not defending. Imagine speaking and not checking for permission. Imagine existing, not as a version, but as a presence. That's the freedom on the other side of detachment. The Buddhists say, the tighter you cling, the more you suffer. So start loosening your grip, not all at once, but breath by breath. Release the identity that needs to be impressive. Release the story that says healing has to look perfect. Release the weight of pleasing, of proving, of performing, and feel what's left. The soft, honest being beneath it all. The one who isn't trying to be good or strong or worthy. The one who just is. It's not nothing, it's everything. You don't become authentic by trying harder. You become authentic by letting go of what you're not. So let it fall. The mask, the act, the pressure. Let it all fall. And walk on. Lighter. Not because you've escaped life, but because you've stopped escaping yourself. There comes a moment where no answer satisfies, no affirmation calms, no strategy heals. Because healing isn't something you do, it's something you allow. You stop fighting the sadness, stop fixing the fear, stop running from the silence, and you just sit, not as a warrior, not as a victim, just as yourself, for the first time in years, maybe ever. There's a kind of surrender that isn't defeat. It's returning to your breath, to your skin, to the moment you're actually living instead of the one you're constantly trying to fix. You realize that the version of you've been carrying, the polished one, the resilient one, the one with all the answers, was never the point. The point was presence, realness, feeling your own heartbeat and not flinching. And that starts when you stop trying to escape reality. Because reality, raw and imperfect as it is, has never lied to you. It holds your grief without judgment. It welcomes your anger without shame. It listens to your confusion and says, stay, you're allowed. You don't need to rewrite the past. You don't need to force clarity about the future. You just need to be here, now, in the body you've spent years abandoning, with the heart you've tried to hide. Let the noise settle. Let the defenses drop. Let the truth be soft, not sharp. You are not a project. You are not a performance. You are not a mistake to be corrected. You are a human being, breathing, breaking, blooming in real time. When you stop resisting what is, a strange peace begins to bloom. It's not loud, it's not euphoric, but it's real. The kind of peace that comes from no longer pretending to be okay, and realizing you still are. Okay in your sadness, okay in your confusion, okay simply because you exist. That's the silence that heals. Not silence as emptiness, but as fullness. A space where you don't have to earn your right to be. So don't chase the next version of yourself. Don't wait to be perfect to be real. You're allowed to rest inside who you already are. And maybe the truth is this: you're not lost. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just peeling off the layers, shedding the false skins, unlearning the noise. And beneath it all, there you are, unedited, still breathing, still worthy, still here. So let this moment be enough, not as an ending, not as a fix, but as a beginning that doesn't need to be impressive, just honest. And maybe, just maybe, what if everything you've been trying to become was never outside you? What if the most radical act of healing is to stop running from who you already are? What if this, right here, right now, is where you finally come home?